Okay, this is just in response to Jason Capriati's question about how you separate features in synchronous. So here I've got a model I've made in synchronous, and it's got little draft on it and fillet on the top. So I can take the feature and drag it so it intersects with the other feature. Or I take this cylinder or this cone and intersect it with the other cone. Okay, now that we've got them together, we need to get them apart. So I'll select it and pull it back out. Okay, that works. That works great. But there are a couple of ways to make this not work. One would be to add. Well, let's do this first. Let's put them back together, and then put a fillet on here. And I'll just select this edge. We get a fillet. Hit enter and then escape. Okay, now because there's a fillet between the two shapes, you can move them around, and the fillet moves around with you, but you can't pull them apart because that would break the geometry. And that's what that little exclamation point is telling you, saying you can't do that, can't do that. So one thing that you could do is you could delete the feature. Now the feature in synchronous is just a collection of faces. So if I delete the feature, then I can pull these two shapes apart. Control Z to undo. And now I'm going to do this a different way. I'm going to control select several faces and then just delete those. Notice that the feature remains because there are still some faces that feature created, and the synchronous feature is just a collection of faces. So if I drag it now, it's still not gonna work because those fillet faces are still there, and they're supposed to be tangent at a specific size. So you really have to get rid of all of this. Again, I could just use this to delete those faces, but I'm going to use manual method here to get rid of it all. Okay, so delete that. Once I delete all the faces that are associated with that feature, the feature goes away, and now I can grab the other cylinder as well and move that out of the way. Okay, now this isn't working. Okay, let's try this. Okay, well, okay, so that's what causes things to either work or not work is when the B rep can't rebuild the associated faces, even if it has to move those faces around. In your example that you showed on the forum, it looks like you tried to get rid of the fillets, but there was something else going on. It looks like you had a hole from the back side, and that might have had a fillet associated with it or something. So the way you deal with this in synchronous, because you can't work without having fillets on your parts, the way you deal with this in synchronous is that it's general best practice in synchronous to put the fillets on as ordered features, and you might also want any sort of features that you really have to have with driving sketches, things like extruded text, things like that you don't want to manage that face by face. But a big part like this, a big rectangular blocky part like this, this is easy to manage this way. If you don't like this editing this way, so symmetric, you turn off the symmetric design intent, and you just make it go this way. This box that keeps coming up is the design intent box, and this is why I say you can change design intent on the fly, and it's literally what you do. You turn on and off various relationships inside of this. And so if you don't want any other faces to move, and you want to be sure of that, then you just turn off all of the design intent, and the design intent becomes whatever you've selected. Okay, so that's a little more on that than you probably wanted, but that's part of what's going on in your model. If you wanted to post that model, I could work with it. Solid Edge was nice enough to give me a license I can play with, and so I can answer some of these questions now.